Vega squadrons turn to ban. Navis turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Vega squadrons turn to pick. Navis turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
I speak for the trees.
Vengeful spirits.
Vega squadrons turn to pick.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to ESL One Manila Qualifiers. We're, of course, here in the European Division. We're going to have Vega Squadron facing up against Navi, and this is all to determine who's going to be moving on to the next round. I actually had in my head who they're going to be facing, but I can't remember now. Let's get into the draft, shall we? We have a rather long day ahead of us. We have this European Division League matches, and we also have the American qualifiers, which are going to be shortly after that. Archon versus Elite Wolves, and Complexity versus Digital Chaos. Every single time I see DC, I want to call them Dota Cinema. I've got Modpax joining me. Modpax, what do you think? What do you think about this this matchup specifically, Vega or Navi? Because, well, typically, like, if you looked at it like just a month ago, or even 2 months ago at the very minimum, you would say Vega Squadron is a stronger team, they'll be moving forward. But Navi have been looking really good lately, and they also just managed to qualify themselves for Dota Pay.
Yeah, they've been on a little bit of a tear. They had a big streak going for a while there. They lost the game. Oh no! Not still looking very strong. Lots of wins under the belt. And I believe after this, it's for EU, it's Empire and London Conspiracy, because London Conspiracy knocked out Team Spirit, which is pretty crazy. So the winner of this goes on to face the winner of those two. For the Manila qualification, but moving into this actual game here, so far in the draft, one thing that's really striking and interesting is just the fact that Vengeful Spirit pick up from Navi, because it is something that Vega Squadron do highly prioritize, but it's kind of crazy to see that in the second and third pick they went for NP, Vengeful Spirit, and Vega Squadron, although they still went back to the Faceless Void, even though the Vengeful Spirit is considered a really big counter to it, it's understandable when you already have the Invoker.
Oh yeah, why not? I mean, if you can get, it's like two of the globals, right? I feel are some of the strongest heroes to run with Faceless Void. It's like the Invoker and the Zeus. Both are powerhouses, output like amazing amounts of magic damage. They give you a little bit of that global presence, which can be kind of necessary for Faceless Void in those first couple of Chronospheres if he's not coming mid. And you want some sort of frontliner with a good AoE disable, and Faceless Void is very much the offlaner right now, alongside Lone Druid and probably Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, he's so hard to deal with in lane. It feels like I just getting more and more impressed by people in the off-lane with this hero. Like, obviously he is hard to deal with in terms of trying to keep up his income, like your Lone Druid going towards, but at the same time, like trying to zone out the lane with this new build everyone's going for, more points into time dilation instead of going back to the bash, time lock. You're just seeing the complete survivability and the ability for allies to actually show up and get ganks off, much like Chronosphere does happen, depending on what your lane matchups are.
Viper, let's see, what was our bans actually? Enchantress and Sven being banned away by Vega Squadron and Juggernaut and Gyrocopter. Juggernaut and Gyrocopter, I think, especially the Gyrocopter, probably one of the best heroes to couple with the Faceless Void as well. Another one of those heroes that can really take advantage of the nice AoE disable, and I think Juggernaut's just one of the carries of this patch.
Yeah, and the answer, like, to go right back to then they pick that Viper as well, because now the Shadow, not only you know, sending the Invoker mid, obviously one of the better heroes, so against a pretty tough laning matchup, but it does help against the fact that they must go toward the OD. Like, just having that Faceless Void, you're really willing to take something like the Gyrocopter, anything, just like your Invoker, dumping that damage in the Chronosphere, having the range to make the most of the Chronosphere that you can, especially when it's going to be reduced by swap from the Vengeful Spirit. I really like this Viper, just kind of hedge their bets up against that. Plus it fits well, because they need a mech for this little bit of a pushing lineup they can at least threaten here with their Tricore they already have.
Now, do you think they're going to go even further into a push lineup? Do you think they're actually going to go for a pickup like, say, a Lycan or something like that? Oh, there's a big range glass cannon carry, similar to the OD, but a lot more physical damage than pure, and comes online, I would say, a bit faster.
Yeah.
It is also better with push lineups, but why draw Ranger exactly? Because I was looking at it as like Na'Vi are the ones who are potentially going to be pushing, but now with this draw Ranger, it kind of throws a wrench in things in some way. I don't think Vega Squadron are going to be pushing necessarily. I don't think Invoker and Faces Void come online fast enough, but that still puts a question mark into the draw Ranger pick. And why would you go for that if you're not planning to try and end the game by 35 minutes?
Honestly, it might have been the fact that they could have. It works in a couple ways. Like, it is definitely a block pick, and a lot of sense. Can you imagine a drone on top of this Viper Vengeful Spirit as well as Nature's Prophet? Obviously, would be terrifying, but at the same time, it gives Invoker that little bit of edge that he does need against the Viper in the mid lane. It's going to be helping him out a ton with that precision. But you're right. I don't feel that usual synergy that we see with the Draft Ranger lineup. Like, it would fit a lot better into Navi's draft. And because of this, I'm kind of seeing a lot more synergy right now. Navi's I feel like this is the lineup that I would expect. You've got a lot of great early game, and I don't see there being a lot that Vega Squadron are going to be able to do. They get a slightly lead early and start pushing into the objectives.
Yeah, this lineup is actually very similar to one that Na'Vi ran not so long ago, up against the 99% team, the team with Moran and Mitch on it. Where they did pick up both Viper and Draw Ranger on the same side. They didn't have like Nature's Prophet, but I think in a way, if you have a Nature's Prophet, that I think facilitates a Draw Ranger pickup even more. A Witch Doctor now, obviously a good pair with the Faceless Void. This feels pretty obvious though. I would have actually expected, if I have a Faceless Void in the enemy team, for me, I think my two highest priority bans are Gyro and Witch Doctor. But they chose to ban away the Juggernaut instead. Maybe that's just because of some of the sustain that Juggernaut brings to the table. They feel like that's a bit too strong to deal with. But Na'Vi will now ban away the Enigma, want to be able to take away some greedy 4 position that would have also coupled really well with the Draw Ranger and actually given us an early push lineup, even though they do have these later game cores in Invoker and Faces Void.
Yeah. Well, now that I'm kind of worried about what you mentioned earlier, that Lycan pickup is definitely still potential here. I know it's something that Na'Vi think about launching the draft, but typically they're actually the ones that ban it out. They've only ever picked it once. This patch where they've actually banned it 11 times. But currently, I mean, they're going to ban a Spectre. I could definitely see a Lycan thing being good here. Other than that, like, if you want to go a little bit crazy and throw like a safe lane Death Prophet, that's also still a potential. If you don't want it, showing up anywhere else here. There's a lot of good options for them.
Spectre definitely would have been the best pickup, a hero to instantly jump on the Draw Ranger, and that's really what you want out of your carry right now, is somebody who can get to that position immediately. I'm trying to think of what other carries potentially left. You don't really want a Slark or anything like that. Juggernaut's already gone.
Reserve time.
It's tough. Like, you kind of want to be a little bit tanky because the Chronosphere, like, even the Morphling.
The First Spirit's alright because they don't have a direct disable from their supports just yet, but Chronosphere as well as the Silence from Draw Ranger are going to be problems in this case. Yep, there's the Lycan. Felt like the most obvious pickup that had a lot of synergy within their lineup, plus was very good versus Vega Squadrons, so
Yeah, that's very solid. Like just getting right on top of that Drow Ranger is going to be excellent for them. Pretty tanky for the Chronos. Also, honestly, he's pretty hard to hit the Chronos. Like if he manages to get the shape off first, he's going to be really quick. And we all know the struggles that Faces Void has now. Obviously, with the short time walk, he doesn't have that blink dagger. If you do manage to Chrono, like chances are you're not getting anyone else in there. So your Vengeful Spirit should be pretty easy swap out to save Bacon there. And I guess it's just the last support here. Could be a little bit of a roamer if they wanted to go like a little bit crazy with like a Rana or something, but they don't really have any sort of a setup for it. There's no
Earth Spirit lockdown, right?
Space Cap.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking Spirit Breaker or okay, Lina. Nice damage dealer that can potentially go into pure damage against the Viper. That's pretty nice. I think that part of the problem is going to be that the Winter Wyvern, if you picked up something that was a little bit too physical damage oriented as your 4th position, the Winter Wyvern be able to counter that in a way. So Lina still gives you that lockdown, couples well with the Faces Void already, is going to be able to make sure to get a lot of pressure on that Nature's Prophet. Doesn't fulfill the same kind of roaming position that we were both kind of thinking about for Vega Squadron, but it is a very, very signature hero.
Yes.
Going back to previous patches where he played that greedy 4 position to such perfect.
Yeah, like his Shadow Shaman and Lina plays basically the same idea, splitting the lanes, getting tons of fire. Like it was, people were saying at the time, but it really is true. It was the most reminiscent to like EUI days of the Jakiro on the side lanes as well that I've seen ever. Like Solo was getting an unreal amount of farm, and this is actually way better than Spirit Breaker the more I look at it, because she's going to get the benefit of the Drow, obviously. You have that hilarious cold embrace tee up, basically, Laguna Blade, you know, so it's kind of be saved here, so really solid option here for Vega.
Now, looking at the lineup as a whole, do you favor Vega Squadrons with that last pick, or are you still going to side with the Lycan and all the synergy that it's going to bring to the Na'Vi squad?
That's a good question. I gotta say, I definitely favor Lycan. I think it's just one of these heroes that's so insane right now. In terms of the Roshan control, the Vega do have a lot towards that, but not so much early on. So a lot of it, I think, is just going to come down to what Mag gets done here. Like you can see right now, he's blocking out Scam. Well, not blocking out, guarding Scam. They're going to have this, because if he doesn't have this, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. Like we've seen so many Faces Void struggle early on. If they do get totally shut down, that he really needs these levels.
Looks like Vega Squadron is still trying to figure out what they're going to be doing rune-wise. Looks like they'll be heading to the top lane where Na'Vi are spread out all over the place. I'm going to say that, you know, it's a little bit... I see this like very clear synergy in Vega Squadron's lineup and the way that they can just destroy the mid-game. And for me, I guess it's going to be just that Na'Vi's execution in early to mid-game has been so good. And I'm going to kind of side with Na'Vi, but I think it's more of a team thing than necessarily the lineup. Or, sorry, Vega Squadron. Side with Vega Squadron's lineup a little bit more. Just because it just feels like kind of in their wheelhouse and everything else. Na'Vi's lineup feels a little bit more discombobulated. Even though the Lycan does go well with this team and everything else, I feel they're going to fail to hit their mid-game timing against Vega Squadron. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to stand up against the pressure, right? I don't think the Lycan's going to be quite ready. If Viper doesn't have an exceedingly good time in the first 15 minutes, he may not be enough to stand alone against this Vega Squadron kind of 5-man team fight push lineup that they have.
Yeah, for sure. And, General, actually, maybe the first blood here too. Got here. Oh, he only got the trance. I think he might be going down. He's gonna need some pretty nifty jukes here.
Oh, he maybe should have just TP'd instead of eating that tree. Oh, I really thought he was gonna make it. I saw that TP by. I was like, hide yourself in the trees, TP out. But then he decided to cut down the tree. I think he was trying to. Maybe he should have cut down a different tree and looped around or something like that. But that unfortunately cost him his life. Meanwhile, Mag's going to be doing excellently here at this bottom lane. We're dealing with a carry that does not have a disable, and this is going to be one of the big downsides of Lycan. A hero like Faces Void, who's so tanky, can really push forward in this lane and sit on it, and there's not really much that Artstyle is going to be able to do.
Yeah, and like, they have one issue obviously with the shorter attack ranges. It's pretty hard to harass Faces Void without obviously him running up on you, getting a couple time blocks off, but Mid lane, actually gonna go down here. Oh, so close.
Oh, Fairy Fire goes off. Solo's actually going to be able to turn around onto Dendi. A Fairy Fire of his own goes down, but it's not going to be enough. He even pops the healing salve towards the end, but Solo does manage to finish him off. That looked like Seneko was a bit at fault there, I would say. Seneko, who's known for his incredible Winter Wyvern plays, missing that Splinter Blast was pretty bad by him. He was just really slow to cast it. I'm not sure if he got level 2 and that's why it was delayed, but it wasn't even close to hitting that Invoker, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's rough there. And these early couple of kills here can really set the pace for this mid lane. You're dealing with this, like we were talking about, you got the Drow on one side, but the other, it is a Viper, so kind of whoever takes the early kills in this lane is going to have a massive advantage here. And obviously you're running regen already here for no one, only get the 1 point plus. Well, back before that happened, one thing I have seen lately with the Lycan in the Faceless Void is that the Wolves can actually shred Faceless Void. Like, yeah, he's got 5 armor, but if he gets a couple levels up, he won't really need our style because since it's that, sustained damage, it's not nuking power or anything like that, there's nothing Mag can do. So hopefully they'll be able to stone him out soon.
Yeah, well, you can't actually have much killing power at level 1 through 4. I think as soon as you hit level 5, it's like you can then solo, just because your wolves are so obnoxious, especially since the trade where they're able to get their own kind of, I forgot what it's called, but it's like a cripple effect. That is actually really obnoxious to deal with.
Yeah, and Meg, he also won't have the Quelling Blade deal, but now it's fine. He's only going to be level 1, and he has the 4-man shield, so...
Meanwhile, their top lane general may have died early, but he does have an okay amount of farm. He's 7-3, nowhere near Mag's excellent farm, but this is just a different lane entirely he's dealing with. A lot more danger going up against a Drow Ranger, especially with her innate silence that she brings to the table against this TP, so... Kind of seems like a lane that general almost has to carry a TP scroll with him. That way he can abuse the fact that they only have 1 disable.
Yeah, I'm not sure if maybe he's just trying to rush up that Midas that we've come to expect, or just needs to get his phase as fast as possible so he'll be a little bit more survivable, but I won't worry about seeing at least.
Yoma managed to pick up a regen rune. He's going to TP and counter General's TP in, but it's not going to be fast enough. General does just enough damage, and that's partly in thanks to the Howl coming out from Ditchia Ra. That was a big added benefit. They're not going to try and push down this tier 1 tower, but Solo's actually going to come in, and Ditchia Ra is well low enough they can actually get this kill if he gets a lucky bash, but it's not going to happen. Solo chased down by the wolves a bit, but it's Artstyle who's going to take the bash instead. Mag, is he going to be able to commit for this one? He has to jump forward. It's going to be a heavy commit, but he will manage to pick it up. Yet another. Was that a bash towards the end, or was that just a heavy damage hit?
I couldn't even tell. I was too focused on the fact that LSA was so close. It never quite wears off. Looks like it wasn't. It was a hit. Man, that was quite the hit. Oh, no, it was a time lock. Yeah, she got rid of time lock.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. I was gonna say, if he commits to that, and he doesn't get the bash, it's pretty clear he's not going to get the kill, and that he's kind of pushed forward, especially with the wolves. He's going to take a lot of harassment, but he just made the judge that it was going to be the right play. They're going to go on Sioma again, the Furion. Not TPing in, but it doesn't seem like they actually need him unless the casket... Oh no, this is bad. Sioma waited that one out beautifully. Now the ice wall is laid down, but no one has to deal with a Viper as well, and that's going to make a big difference, especially with General finally making his debut into this team fight. LSA lands onto Seneko. They've dove a bit too deep into the tier 2 tower, but they do manage to get a decent trade up until Mag comes in. They're going to be able to ensure a secondary kill onto Jesse, and it looks like General's going to go down as well. Na'Vi just too far forward, and Vega Squadron punished them. Excellent.
Alright, the whole reason they had to dive that deep under the tower was because of the Forge Spirit body blocks that no one was throwing out while he was running away. Like, the way that he was causing the zigzags of the Viper, they essentially had to dive that tower. It's the only way that Maggie got in there for that, so pretty slick plays there, guaranteed themselves, I guess that was a triple in the end.
Nasty, 6 minutes in, 6 kills, Vega Squadron, they're about 2k up right now, and as you said, they do have some very good Roshan control with the Invoker, Drow Ranger, and even Lena's pretty good at it as well. So if Na'Vi lose too much of their early game, they're going to be susceptible to an early Roshan, and that's just going to turn things even worse for them. Solo is going to be caught by a rotation here, but it looks like he managed to get himself out of the trees with an LSA, and the Wolves might be able to run him down, but General's actually going to be slowed down by Mag. Turn around, nice Dragon Slave, and they'll pick the kill. another opportunity, it seems, for Vega Squadron to just punish Na'Vi playing super aggressive. I recently heard someone describe Na'Vi's playstyle lately as being kind of playstyle that you don't really expect out of teams, almost in a way that, oh, Jesus. He still managed to pick up Lina. Artstyle diving in so deep for this one. It looks like he may be, yeah, he's definitely going to die here. Rotation across for no one. The best Artstyle can hope for is perhaps a deny on Ancient, but Sunstrike one step ahead, and Mag will be able to pick up that kill.
Man, they are just... They're going in deep here from Na'Vi. That you can kind of feel that they know that they want to get a lot of early pickoffs. You know, they want to get this momentum going. They don't want to let the Faceless Void get anything. But all these dives, they're committing so heavily there. Like, we just lost our Nature's Prophet and now our Vengeful Spirit as well. This is rough.
It really is. Sioma in for a ward here. Meanwhile, Na'Vi are going to go for not slowing down the aggression one bit. They go for a smoke play at top. They know they've left Pasha alone in lane for just way too long. They're going to make their initiation now, and Pasha should be dying here as the TPs come out, but they're not going to be fast enough. Part of the downside of a Drone Ranger so easily destroyed if you can get that initiating stun.
Tower is under attack.
All right, well, finally, one of these dives and rotations actually does go well here. So this is what they need. And are they at the point where they can actually convert? You know, like, we haven't actually lost objective anywhere on the map. You can see how aggressive Vega are getting down here in the jungle. It kind of wonders, like, you've got your level 6 obviously now up on Ditchera. Do you want to group up and actually, you know, get together and start going for these towers? Or do you feel like after all these dives, you're not quite ready? Like, do you need to start getting the mechanism up on Dendi? Do you need to get drums up here on for General as well? I can feel like this hesitation, and that really is the last thing that Na'Vi can afford with this draft.
Yeah. They definitely needed to make sure that they get some control before about 20 minutes and Vega Squadron starts steamrolling, because that is really what their lineup is meant to do. And it looks like a pickoff on Ditchera is not setting things up real well for them. The Sunstrike well placed by no one, and they get the kill. And nice play from Solo. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, a TP in from the Furion is going to make sure they get the Drone Ranger, and it looks like they might try and run down no one as well. With the body blocks coming out from the treants off of that swap, they will be able to make a twofer. Artstyle getting out, or at least trying to. Lina comes in from the side, immediately blown up by Dendi and Artstyle, but the casket is bouncing around beautifully. Sioma just keeps getting those perfect paralyzing casts that does ensure at least a turnaround kill. But in the end, it was a 2 for 3, and they lost their 2 big cores on the side of Vega Squadron. Mag was definitely one of the big beneficiaries there of those fights for Vega Squadron, but I'm not sure if that's really beneficial for them. They need their Drone Ranger and Invoker to be the big winners of fights, if anything else.
Yeah, Dendi made a pretty good play there, just because he had an Invis rune, so with this ward up here on the high ground, he's able to head on in and find himself out 9 Pasha there. And he basically just casts Viper Strike, and they chase each other around the trees for a bit, but, you know, TPing in there from General helps secure it, so... they're definitely bouncing back here. You know, they're starting to shut down these cores. We're back to 0 in the net worth, which honestly, it's really scary being down 2k at 6 minutes or so like they were. So getting this back right now, this game could have got crazy out of control, but we'll be getting closer to the mechanism now for Dendi. And then hopefully we'll start seeing some objectives. It'll kind of be on what level Solo will have at that point to pair up the Chronosphere.
Yeah, he does have his level 6, and this is why Artstyle's got to back himself away. Solo's going to try and chase him down. They're not in range of the cast. Nice block there from the Sprout, just ensuring that Artstyle does get out successfully. And to mass TPs here from Na'Vi, they can get another 2 while the Furion TPs out and picks up his drums.
And so, with no one with the Midas now, though, this is kind of that point, you know. Bags, he's getting up towards his Vlads. He's almost up. Honestly, he's level 9 and he's almost level 10. He is crazy leveled right now when you compare it to like Ditchera. He has been the beneficiary of a lot of these fights. You know, he ends up showing up there, and everyone else kind of dies. Well, he gets to survive thanks to being the good old Faceless Void. Na'Vi are now putting this pressure, so they're starting to signal the fact that they do want to start going through these objectives. You are getting this one nice deep ward. It's going to spot out Pasha here. Looks like it's going to be a free pick. They got everything available.
Yeah, Sioma can't really get there in time for a good cast, and the Howl just lets it so. These 2 right-clicking supports are made that much better by the Howl. A nice amount of synergy, and they're able to very quickly pick up a Ranger and rotate on out. Looks like they're going to be heading to the mid lane to push down this tower now.
Yeah, and Artcel's gone for the full wave of terror, which is, you know, it's kind of interesting when you're with the Lycan, because a lot of times you'll see the Vengeance Aura, but again, it just shows how much they want to really focus down on top of Roshan. Honestly, I'm not sure what would be faster. I feel like Vengeance Aura would be better with the Wolves than the minus armor even would be.
Dioma comes in with the cast. They do have a lot of rotations coming out from Vega Squadron. They're going to just make sure they get the kill on Artstyle. They're actually going to pop the ultimate here, and oh Jesus, Dioma definitely dies under that onslaught of both the Invoker as well as his...
Artstyle's living!
Oh my god, no, the Sunstride's going to make sure he... Oh, maybe not! The Sunstride doesn't do quite enough damage. Now they actually go for the Chronosphere, and they'll blow up Dendi, but no one's going to be out of position. Artstyle finally does go down, but Ditchira is quickly jumping onto Pasha. Meanwhile, General's actually come in from the side and made sure to kill the Lina, and is going to help out kill the Draw Ranger as well. Na'Vi getting the full swing of things now as Vega Squadron just fail to pick up the quick kill on Artstyle like they intended. Maybe the Chronosphere should have been used to pick up that kill.
That was unreal. It's like the staircase jukes from Artstyle, who, you know, typically, no offense to Artstyle, but he's known as one of those guys that, you know, he's more of the planner, you know, he's kind of got some great wards going on. He generally doesn't perform that well in the team fights, but that's like one of the best Artstyle performances I've seen in a long time. He made his plays during that fight, kept himself alive for just long enough that Na'Vi easily came out on top.
Vengeful Spirit was very tanky there, and that was all physical damage he was dealing with, and that's because he was almost done with completing the medallion. He had the basic armor set, and now has the complete medallion of courage. It means that Na'Vi may be the one securing Roshan here pretty quickly. The Lycan's definitely getting quite close to that solo Roche position. He's got the Vlads ready to go. He's level 9. If they can just get a bit of reprieve, because Vega Squadron is not a team that you want to try and Roshan against if there's all 5 up. But if they can get some sort of decent pick-off, they kill Mag, that would be huge, but more than likely you'll have to look for a pick-off on like Solo or perhaps even no one. One of those squishier damage dealers first. But if they do get that kind of reprieve, they can go for Roshan themselves and claim it before Vega can. Well,
yeah, honestly... As long as there's no Death Ward, or even if there's just no Laguna Blade, either of those tools being down should be enough for Na'Vi to feel pretty comfortable. And the other great thing is with Artstyle going towards them down to Courage, obviously it's nice because it synergizes well with the Vengeful Spirit, but it does mean that Ditchira is going to have a lot earlier BKB. It's going to be coming a lot sooner, and that's going to be pretty huge for him. But of course, having the Drow lineup, oh, this is so good if they can snag this for themselves.
They're going to go for it, not really caring that the Winter Wyvern had an illusion there. They see the Furion is top. They think this is going to be enough time for them to get Roshan, but Na'Vi are definitely going to be able to get into this pit in time and contest. They've
Curse 7.
The cask is doing so much work. Death Ward goes out. Yep, the Slayer knows he just has to sacrifice himself in order to make sure that Roshan does go into the hands of Vega Squadron, but they've already lost 2 supports. No one lays out the ice path, but still, Vega Squadron are all almost dead practically. Pasha gonna try and go for the TP out. Looks like those will... Oh no! They didn't complete! Dendi kills him first, and that means Pasha will not be able to get out with the Aegis in hand. Instead, he dies. Na'Vi contest Roshan, and they get way ahead in this game now.
Oh man, that was it was definitely a bold play from Vega because they knew what was happening, right? You know that the second that Roshan goes down, that's when this lineup just suddenly flips the switch. It's understandable that you want to commit to something like that, but they couldn't find a good opportunity for the Chronosphere. You know, they couldn't find a good opportunity really for the Death Ward, and because we talked about how great they are fighting around the Roshan pit, how great they are initiating into it, but although you have that Drow Ore to try and take it as fast as you can, it just wasn't fast enough. But at least they didn't give up the Aegis, you can say, but still a massive win for Na'Vi.
This is before Na'Vi really... I mean, I can't believe that Na'Vi has been winning so many of these fights already. I did not think that their timing was going to be this fast, because they don't even have the mech complete on Dendi. I expected the mech to be one of the big signatures for Na'Vi to actually be able to contest Vega Squadron in some of these team fights, but they didn't even seem to need it. This combination of Lycan with these 2 right-clicking supports, plus a right-clicking mid like Viper, is, I mean, I guess a right-clicking offlaner as well in Nature's Prophet, actually just eating up the Vega Squadron heroes so quickly that they can't actually get the combinations that is expected.
Yeah, I think the issue is that although Vega had a really great early game, considering like the way this could have gone, you know, very early aggressive lineup from Na'Vi, a lot of that did go on Mag. And if you're not going to get off the Chronosphere, the way that Void's built today with the Vlad, basically all he's offering is Vlad's, and that's pretty much it without the Chronosphere, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a massive team when it comes to the time dilation. It's pretty good against art style. It's okay against Seneko, but if he's not even getting that up, like, Meg didn't contribute anything to that last fight, really. So when all your investments on that hero and not on someone like no one, then it's going to be really hard for him to win these fights.
Tier 2 tower is going to be forfeit. It looks like Vega Squadron will try and take the Tier 1 at top in return, but
they've got Necro spot too.
Yeah, this push is just too fast for Vega Squadron to kind of make a play for the Tier 1. They have to come back and defend.
Structures are fortified.
You're going to see that now with a TP in from Mag. He needs a really good Chronosphere, but look who's on the front lines. It's just Dendy. Solo's going to be ulted. They will have the Chronosphere to be able to catch two. Solo almost dies, but he managed to get off his ultimate onto Dendy. Artstaff does swap out. This will put him in some serious danger. He'll probably go down next. Sunstrike, not quite landing, but they should be able to run him down eventually, it seems like, as there's no attempt by Na'Vi to defend that support's life. So they do manage to get a decent fight there, but that in part was because Solo just barely managed to survive there.
Yeah, that went surprisingly well, honestly, especially because Sioma was like late getting there. Didn't have the TP, had to walk his way there. The Chronosphere, like, Mag waited as long as he could, but even by the time he finally threw it out, the death ward didn't come in until the very last second. He chilled it for about half a second and then just canceled it. Like, he didn't have that opportunity for this whole combination that you're drafting, so surprised it went that well, but, you know, Na'Vi, they didn't really lose all that much. You're going to have higher levels coming up onto your Necrobook soon. Look at this little DD rune into the Ancients, you know. Just downright filthy Lycan pickers here. I mean, I think this hero is definitely underutilized. Like, he's starting to show up a little bit, but with how many early push strategies we're seeing success with lately, I'm honestly expecting to see more Lycan, and I'm expecting to see him at Shanghai, too.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's one of the heroes that just the playstyle of this patch, where you need to be able to have strong high ground heroes. Like that seems to be one of the biggest things, is that a lot of this patch comes down to your timings and being able to fully commit uphill. And if you don't have that, it seems like your lineup just, you know, stalls out, and sooner or later you lose the late game.
Yeah, we're starting to see a lot of bigger cooldown heroes coming back too, right? Like with the OD, with the Sandy's Eclipse, the Faceless Void being one of the major offlaners, Tidehunters made a big comeback as well. And when you're dealing with heroes that just provide this like push, like Ditchera, obviously on the Lycan, you have your Shapeshift. If they mess up on a Chronosphere, or you mess up on a Ravage or anything along those lines, it's so easy for him to just walk back in. You know, like, he's still ready to go. Shapeshift lasts like forever. It's got a pretty low cooldown. So if you have these heroes that you can punish, like a 5th pick Lycan is a great hero to bring in 5th. You know, you see these scenarios where they don't have enough lockdown, you see the ability for your team to push, and bring him into your draft. It's just another weapon to add in, whether it be like your Anti-Mage, your Ember Spirit. It's like a single hero that adds so much to what you want to achieve.
Na'Vi know what Solo does. They know very clearly that when Solo's in a position like this, he's always going to push for more. Always. And Na'Vi quickly rotate in, punish him for that one. General threatening the TP at bottom lane, but obviously there's no real kill power here. They do have the Blink Dagger on Faceless Void. Mag has been holding on, or wait. Did he sold his
Yeah,
Blink Dagger?
he had it. He must have sold it.
Okay. Because I thought for a second, I was like, holy crap, he's got a lot of farm. And I thought maybe he was hiding his Blink Dagger, but no. He ended up selling it and trying to go complete the Ags before the next push, which is a bit dangerous. Just needs 500 more gold though, so it looks like it should be able to come in time.
Yeah, we see this quite a bit, and definitely the play here. It's great to have the Blink, obviously, for the high ground to get that perfect Chronosphere, but what's going to be more important is just what we talked about with like the Shapeshift and just being able to run right back. It's the lowest cooldown he can possibly get on Chronosphere. The 60 seconds is going to make a completely massive difference. Like, you're missing out on so much time here if you don't have that Aghanim Scepter.
Oh, they can't afford to lose Mag here. If they can at least force out a Chronosphere, that'd be nice, but they don't have enough disables. The support's too far in the back. They do have the Ags on the Nature's Prophet plus Necrobook 3 on Lycan. Well, actually, he just needs the Courier for it first. But when they have those items, I'm not sure if waiting for the Orchid is worth it or not. Be waiting for Roshan. That's actually probably what Na'Vi is waiting.
Yeah, just they got enough items that will be done by then anyway that it should be fine. Like obviously your Necro 3. Artzel's actually picked up his own Sange here too, along with Dendi. So they're all tanking up here, getting ready to go for this push. And oh, they're gonna go for a smoke here on Vega. This could be a really nice play.
Okay, there it is. That's no one's act. I am so confused on Mag. I keep looking, like I see an Ogre Club, and I thought it was his, and I was like, oh, he's almost got it. He's still another K.
Wait, that wasn't his?
No, that was no one.
Oh, I thought that was his too.
Yeah, I was just like losing my mind. I'm like looking back through Mag's items, like where the hell is your Mag?
What? So did he sell the Blink for half value then? He must have. Like, there's no way, because he would have had enough gold for point booster plus the Ogre Club. That's why I just assumed it was his on the courier.
Well, it's Mag's.
Uh-oh.
I'm not sure what Mag is thinking now, because I'm half expecting just another U-turn in the build for him to go back to the Blink Dagger for some reason.
And he's just gonna like buy a Maelstrom or something at this point, honestly.
He'll catch out General. Yeoman's not messing around. He uses the Death Ward to make sure. I mean, that's a pretty high value pick off. The the Furion has a large part of the net worth on Na'Vi, especially once he picks up that Axe. It's just so much extra farming that he gets out of that. So committing pretty heavily to make sure that the Furion does die.
Yeah, that's pretty sick. It goes on the Invoker as well too. So I mean, maybe I would have liked that Aghanim Scepter Death Ward, but honestly, I you're probably gonna get a lot more value out of no one having that gold right now.
Solo here by the Lycan. Try and jump on Solo again. This is the thing. Solo's playstyle in previous patches, it worked out really well. It was actually one of the primary reasons that Vega Squadron were able to do so well in tournaments like ESL New York. But in this patch, I don't think you can split push with Lina as much. Like Lina and Shadow Shot, I feel like those heroes are going to be punished more than they used to in previous patches.
I mean, especially when you have this Nature's Prophet Ags that's been pushing up the lane so far. Like, they haven't even lost a tower yet on the side of Na'Vi, so you simply can't be that deep. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Like, that's just a TP, and you just get soloed by, like, Art Style or something at this point, honestly.
Yeah.
Ooh, Pasha, he's got that Dragon Lance for the high ground defense. Pretty good tool in this situation. Nice with your Chronosphere. Not too shabby, It's a budgetary item for high ground defense there. All right, there's that halberd too. So I like this from Art Style.
Yeah, you're gonna go for the BKB butterfly eventually. So
yeah,
the items be nice to be able to have. And speaking of General, almost has his Orchid. That is a late Roshan. Na'Vi are just waiting for it, and it's never coming.
Yeah, that's like almost max duration. So that's pretty perfect here for Vega. Allow them to try and get up some sort of items. Not sure what they'll actually be able to grab. Possibly something else on Pasha. Maybe something on no one, but he probably needs buyback just in case.
Is it just me, or is this the timing is going to switch? When Na'Vi go for their push, say they get the next Roshan uncontested or whatever, and they go for their push. If they're actually defeated by Vega Squadron, they lose the fight, they fail to be able to take, lane of Brax. For me, I feel like Vega Squadron are actually going to be the ones controlling the map at that point in time, because it's about the time where the Drow Ranger is kind of the strongest. You have an insane amount of damage being given to all these ranged heroes. You have the Aghanims complete on both the Faceless Void as well as the Invoker. It seems like the Vega Squadron timing was very solidly at 30 minutes.
Yeah. No, there's no question about that as well. Like, you've only accrued a 5k lead at 25 minutes, and you've had this massive amount of map control. You haven't lost a single tower. Like, imagine if they do win this and you start pushing down one tower, possibly two towers at once. Suddenly we're back to 0 difference. And going later into the game, you're clearly going to be favoring Vega's heroes. At that point, it's going to start relying on, like, BKB usage from Ditira, probably as well as Dendi and General, honestly, if you're going to start winning fights. Like, they have not gone for a later game build-up in any sense of the word.
Yeah.
They need a set of racks with this. And even then, the game's not over, but their current strategy can continue to be successful if they get one rack series.
Shira trying to complete that BKB is going to be taking the Aegis. I'm just trying to think of whether or not that's worth it for the Lycan in these all-in pushes. Because they're going to 5-man into tower. Is it more worth it to give it to Dendi, knowing that Dendi is going to be... Because you don't want to get caught in the Chronosphere, so Dendi is very likely going to be the person that is sitting on the
Radiant's
high
top
ground,
tower
right
is
clicking
under
down that
attack.
tier 3 tower? Is it better to give it to that frontliner or to the carry who is not that good with it just due to transformation abilities in general?
Yeah, I kind of like giving it to Dendi as well because he's like when you're controlling where you're going to be fighting, in the sense that they're pushing into the high ground with proper positioning from Dendi, he can always be in a spot where he can be attacking whoever's attacking Ditchera, while also still close to objectives. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason Ditchera should ever be far enough away from Dendi. Like, there's no hook. You know, there's nothing that should be repositioning him. So fighting around an Aegis Viper, you would think would be giving yourself a pretty big advantage compared to Shapeshift Lycan, who is also closing in on BKB. Like, he could even have it by the time that they want to fight high ground here.
Do you consider an Ags on Trail Ranger in this kind of game? I really like the Maelstrom.
I think that's why everyone builds the Maelstrom, is the eventual eggs, I assume.
I mean, in this game, like, you have the treants coming at you constantly, right? And if you want a really efficient way of being able to deal with this, because I think Vega Squadron know that what we were talking about, where they're like, we're just about to hit our timing, we can defeat them in this next push, then what we have to worry about next is going to be ratted out. Like getting ratted out by Necronomicon, Lycan plus Furion, because all your lanes are going to be pushed in. So you need a really efficient way to be able to push out these lanes. And Maelstrom is definitely the short answer. The longer answer would be Maelstrom and Ags and making that full kind of committal. I'm just not sure if it's worth it to go that far.
It's an interesting question too, because like, do you need a BKB? Like, you want to say yes, right? Because you get Magic Missile, you're just gonna get focused down. There's the Orchid as well, but at the same time, there's Swap, there's a Viper, there's Winter's Curse. You know, there's a lot of these tools. There's a Lycan that just do not care about BKB in the slightest. So I kind of like the glass cannon. Just go for it, honestly.
The tower is already down. Kind of expected that, though. The big question is whether or not they're going to be able to take the full lane of Rax, and just so many different things on the field right now. They will be able to get a Winter's Curse in the background. That's going to be on Pasha. Already bringing him down almost completely. In fact, he will. Good time. Split up blast there from Seneko. And now Ditchera runs forward. LSA lands on the Dendi. Looks like they're going to try and make the committal to kill him. Oh no, the Death Ward misses. It's inside of the Chronosphere, and it's going to be stopped anyway. Plus the swap was there from Artstyle. Time dilation out from Vega. Looks like they will have to give up this lane of Rax no matter what. And Na'Vi can start questioning. They can go for a second lane of Rax. They don't have that ultimate out from Lycan right now, but they can at least position themselves for a mid lane push if they'd like to, or maybe even try and go uphill for the next 25 seconds that Trail Ranger's down.
Man, Seneko just like single-handedly won the game, honestly.
Yeah.
What a sick play. That was such a well-timed Splinter Blast. There was no recourse whatsoever there from Pasha. Like, he could not create the space to survive there. Has no buyback. It looks like he might be back by the time they fight. The Chronosphere is in 15 seconds. Like, no one just needs to delay this as long as he can. The Aether Lens, it's so close to being done on solo, but he won't be able to pick it up as well. Oh, it looks like they might get a little bit of a reprieve to get it, and that's going to be another big tool to help them.
Oh, look at me go!
Yeah, Aether Lens on him, but I was actually looking at the Axe from Sioma. He's really close to it.
Yeah, he's getting there.
So if they're just given the time for 1,000 gold on him, 1,000 gold on solo, the next team fight will be quite different. And we'll have to see if whether or not Seneko can make the same kind of play. Of course, he's got a little bit of extra ability to make a play like that once again. He's got the Blink Dagger now. So that will definitely help out. Do they have the BKB? They do have the BKB. Ditchera has picked that up in full, plus another 1,500 gold.
Oh, they've got like 30 seconds till this expires. I wonder, it looks like they probably won't be able to make a push. As much as you'd love to, it's at that point where it's a little bit too risky that you end up dying as Aegis expires, so it's probably just time to take control.
Yeah, they just control you for like 5 or 10 seconds as much as possible, then your Aegis runs out.
Try this.
Line. Oh, nice swap into Immediate Orchid. That is a great pickoff. He does have buyback. And he will be back up in 60 seconds. Doesn't look like Na'Vi are going to give them that kind of opening, though. He will be forced into a buyback here. There's that Axe for Sioma. We'll see whether or not that actually can win them.
Oh, he sold everything!
Oh my god. All right, that's all it. I was like, man, that was 1,000 gold real quick. No wonder. Holy crap. All right, let's see it, Sioma.
That's so awesome.
You better not put this one inside the chronosphere, otherwise you'll look like the biggest dunce.
Oh, no pressure bag, jeez.
Almost catching Seneko.
They're doing a great job at holding this off. Gotta think, like, they're gonna have to buy back though, right? Like, the Necros, well, they're
the point where Na'Vi fully commit, right? It's that close time, 15 seconds, the buyback, it's not gonna go down. They're not gonna buy back on face. Now they pop it, 10 seconds left. Na'Vi have already just destroyed the economy of Vega Squadron. If they can successfully get out, minimal losses, that'll be decent. 2 supports caught, we'll take that. I think as Na'Vi, you're looking at that going, that was so worth it. We forced a buyback, 10 seconds left out of Mag, as well as killed no one and forced a buyback out of him as well. That was a dream scenario.
Yeah, that's pretty much the most you can hope for, honestly. I like that little ward they threw down there. I was kind of wondering what they were going to use for vision to try and help that out, but you can see they're going to spot out. They got a gem there as well. I'm not sure if they just dropped that.
Oh, that was Seneko's gem.
Yeah.
How did
they might get Pasha, though?
Wait, how did he drop? Oh, somebody else must have picked it up and dropped it. I'm like looking at Seneko's dead body, which is here, and the gem that's there. I'm like, how did the gem jump over here?
Wait, but they both died there. Yeah, I'm pretty confused.
Yeah,
Who died
someone
there?
from Vega picked it up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no one had it for a while. That's what it was. Yeah.
Octarine on both the Furion as well as Vega Squadron's Invoker. And this is smart. Vega Squadron have to push out now. They can't just sit back any longer. They have already lost. This is the problem with these kind of lineups where with Lycan and Nature's Prophet. Once you lose one lane of ranks, you have to start playing more aggressively, because if you just sit back too much, you're just going to get traded too many times. Solo. Oh god, General. He just completed that TP. The LSA will find General now. They'll be able to make sure he does go down. Not even having to use a Chronosphere or anything like that. Big pickup for Vega. And Na'Vi are going to be set on the back foot for at least the next 60 seconds.
Yeah, he's a big part about, you know, obviously Octarine and Aghanim separates even on cooldown, which is great. So gonna finally get a chance to push up these waves just a little bit. Obviously, always been pushing on the bottom lane, but it should give a little bit of a chance here for Pasha to try and farm up in somewhat of a safer area. Maybe try and deward a little bit of their map. Do they still have that gem out and running? I think they've got it on somebody. So.
I know that the gem is on Vega Squadron, so getting really peculiar vision, that especially if it's high ground or something like that, it's good, but I'm just looking at the vision it offers. It doesn't even like cover the mid lane. It almost seems like it would be worth it just hold on to your vision, rather than planting a...
Right here is not... This little line, well, he's getting a ton of value right now because no one's just like sitting in it, so it's surprisingly useful, but... Yeah, you're right. It is unusual. It's pretty good, though, considering they have a gem, honestly. You gotta find every little thing you can. Maybe, like, this tree was cut or something before, I'm not sure, but... I don't know, it's not bad. It's lots of rotations into the jungle. Possibly spawning rotations out this way, too. Once the gem comes out, honestly, you just lose everything, right? Like, they're gonna check every single obvious spot down there, up there, in the mid lane, so... Any little bastion of vision that you can grab, like, I can understand throwing that down.
Chira now has a Basher. We've got a soon-to-be Pipe on Dendi. He's making that full committal for his team rather than completing, say, a Butterfly. He does have that value Talisman of Evasion. I like that pickup, but going back for the Pipe, I can feel it just because they're up against an Invoker, if nothing else. You know, if you can prevent someone from being utterly blown up by a Meteor combination, it seems like a worthy investment, more so than any other item would allow you.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to give you more value than like a BKB would, just because of the way that you're playing this lineup, grouping together, and man, can we just talk about these Wolves? They have been so on point here from Ditchera. Like, he's been scouting out the side of Vega so often, like a couple of these pickoffs on the side lanes have come because of them, tracking down. Solo, as you know, he's still pushing these waves and everything like that, and having the gem, though, of course, is going to be helpful here on the Sioma, trying to track them all down. They've got a ward. Oh, he's gone. Jarno's been playing a really good game this well. Like, yeah, he's got it cut out a couple times, but he does have a ton of farm on those Nature's Prophet, obviously leading up the board and continuously keeping up this pressure, because you really don't want Vega to try and find a pick-off here with that Blink Dagger. Like, you gotta keep control of the map, keep control of Roshan, and we already see that they don't have that massive of a lead still. Like, you're up at the full set of racks, you have the entire map and it's 35 minutes in, and you only have 10k.
Radiant's middle tower
A little bit
is under
risky.
attack.
Pasha kind of getting spooked away there from General for a second, but Na'Vi, I think both sides know that Roshan is about to come up, like literally any second. It's another really late Roshan for Na'Vi, and Vega Squadron know that Na'Vi are going to make this kind of commitment. But this time around, Vega Squadron will be able to contest rather than getting caught like they did last time.
Yeah, this whole game kind of feels like it's on Mag right now. Obviously, with the Blink Dagger, he needs to be finding these perfect Chronos. And once this Abyssal Blade comes out for Ditchy Raw, like, what are they going to do? If Chrono's down and he Abyssals no one, the game's just over. Like, they'll have no tools that will be able to deal with that whatsoever. So, like, Mag, they essentially need to kill Ditchy Raw, but what are they going to do if he manages to get an Aegis? This is a very sneaky little smoke blade. They're going to know where Mag is. The question is, do they go?
Yeah, I think, I'm not sure, but I think they might have been scouted out by that ward that Vega Squadron had on the ramp. Like, yeah, I think they smoked up under vision. I'm not 100% on that. Vega Squadron easily deal with that smoke and will be able to back up. I think Na'Vi, I mean, I know time isn't their greatest friend, but if they are left in this sort of five-man standoff position, I think it's better for Na'Vi, right? Because they have the split pusher of General. He's always going to be able to make sure that at very least the top lane is threatening the tier 3. If not many of these because of
the only way that he can even get punished is if he happens to TP in like directly under a ward or directly under vision, because if they don't know the cooldown teleportation, like, yeah, he doesn't have bots or anything, but it's still way too risky to try and engage,
yeah,
try and take something that's not favorable. Yeah, exactly.
The cooldown's so low. Mid lane, they are going to catch Seneko. That's a big pick off. Vega Squadron needed a nice aggressive play like that. We'll be able to find something.
Is that enough, though?
Yeah, I don't think it's enough for them to do Roshan, but it might stall Na'Vi from being able to do Roshan. Icewall's going to be laid down now. Dendy's completely out of mana. Swap back goes Solo, just gets destroyed. Sioma's getting off a pretty decent ultimate, but they've already used the Chronosphere, so it's not going to last for too long. Ditchera looking for more now. It's going to go on to no one. Meteor, turnaround, pushback. No one's just trying to buy himself space at this point in time. We'll be able to get a blink forward, and it looks like that escape. Maybe not. General's going to be able to come in from the side. He's going to start duking it out with no one, but that Orchid is getting the slight advantage to General. We'll make sure that they get the kill. Solo has come back into line. We'll be able to get the LSA on the Ditchy Raw, but him and Mag don't offer nearly enough damage. He's going to have to time walk himself out. It looks like Vega Squadron may have just completely lost the game with that. Mag's going to go down as well. They only have one buyback, and that's on no one. And Artstyle, well, he doesn't have swap back up to catch Pasha, but I'm pretty sure that Na'Vi can just end the game against these two heroes.
Yeah, that's a rough position to be in too, because you see the pickoff that you really want. Honestly, diving under the tier 1 with the Chronosphere for the Winter Wyvern probably wasn't the play, but they tried to couple it into a kill on the Viper as well, and you can see, like, there's just nothing they can do.
Yeah, no one dies again. Sioma still does not have his ultimate, and there it is. The call from no one. Game number 1 is going to be taken by Na'Vi. Still cannot believe the Vega Squadron didn't mount a full retreat there after they took the Seneko in mid lane. That felt like such an obvious, like, you gotta get out sort of play, but turning on to Dendy, getting them caught, more heroes than ever should have been caught, and they end up losing the game outright because of that.
Yeah, I think without the Chronosphere, they were just going to give up Aegis, it seems like. Maybe the play was to just wait around the pit and just see if the Na'Vi would commit without the Winter Wyvern, and then maybe you can make the play.